Into the Nexus, live from CreateCon. Records live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everyone, to Into the Nexus, live from CreateCon. I am Garrett Earl. This is my first show after Dreadnought was on, and I don't even know why I'm bothering showing up anymore. Sitting to my left, I can touch him, is Mr. Kyle Ferguson. Welcome, Kyle.
Oh, thank you.
And to his left, the man we started this show with. The man still wearing sunglasses inside.
It's still early.
It's still inside.
It's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Willie Dills Gregory, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, man. Good to be here. This is, I think this is after leaving however long ago. This is now my second time back on.
It is.
You guys have been killing it.
Yeah, you were on for our 100th episode.
That's right.
With a lot of other people.
That was such a fun show.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
That was a good time. Not as educational as bringing Dreadnought on and literally squeezing the information out of him like he was a hero sponge.
He was fantastic. I was reeling when that episode was over. I didn't play Hero League all weekend because I was afraid of what I would do. Like I can't direct these solo guys the way he. Check out the after show if you haven't watched it. We got the curse on Curse Hollow and completely skipped the first fort, ran to the back keep, and decimated it while the fort fell anyway due to the minions and their current damage. It was
That's not what you do every time?
No,
That's how I expect all games with Dreadnought to go.
right, and then you get 4 random people on your team, and you're like, come on, the strategy you've never heard of, let's do it, guys, let's go.
I mean, the treat for me, so far this year, and I honestly think it will be hard to top, the big Heroes memory for me was getting to do after-show games with Dunk Train. And listening to, because we raided.
Yeah.
We've all raided. Some of us have even led raids. I have never heard someone be so calm while directing like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, and this person dies now.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I guess he does.
It was very just nice. Oh, that was nice. Good job. Whereas Dreadnought, it was boot camp, man.
That's how I
Yeah.
expected. That's what I'm used to. Like my old raid leader, she was nuts. Like, you get out of the fire right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's more what Dreadnought was like.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. That doesn't surprise me.
No.
No.
He has strong opinions, and they are correct for the most part.
So he has strong facts.
Yes.
Okay. It's not an opinion if it's right.
Well, it's a video game, so I think you just
Okay,
kind of
fair
play
enough.
the safety net.
I was not picking up all the hate on Tyrande he was laying down on the episode.
Yeah, he does not respect that Tyrande. In fact, if you watch his stream, in his league, he's constantly getting placed with this guy named Fergus. And he hates this Fergus guy because he's always picking Tyrande. So when I invited him on the show, there was a delay between him answering because he had to look me up and make sure I wasn't Fergus.
Oh, because your last name is Ferguson.
Yeah.
Ferguson, yeah.
Right.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Would make
And he
sense.
hates that guy
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you that guy I can't stand and is ruining all my games?
with your Tyrande. Yeah, no respect.
Although I do have to yield to Dread. I mean, I have to yield to Dreadnought anyway. He's just straight up better than me in every way, shape, and form. But I haven't been playing Tyrande a lot. Like I can't remember. If you ask,
She's not that good anymore.
I can't tell you the last time I played Tyrande.
Yeah, and she's still got a place, but
Battlefield of Eternity.
yeah, sure. And when the damage is as high as it is right now in the game, like I had a Tyrande in a game the other day, and it was versus Chromie, and you can't do that because you have to be topped up in that 1.5 seconds you have for the temporal loop, and Tyrande simply can't pump that out.
Yeah. It's funny because we were once in the Tyrande meta. So
Yeah.
That
it's
was
very funny to watch.
That
these
was the
heroes
best
falling
2
out.
months of my life, man. 'cause
Really?
I've been
You enjoyed that?
I've been
Yeah.
playing her since the beginning, and I was like, wait, Tyrande's like the best hero in the game right now? All right, let's do this.
Kind of random to think that we're now in a Kerrigan meta of anything.
Yeah.
Got a first ban, first pick.
I never thought we'd be here.
Well, it was interesting when the game first came out. They said that Kerrigan was their baseline. They put all design choices around Kerrigan. They thought on release she was the best designed one and had the best damage output in a way they found sane. And now she's crazy. They up their damage by, 10%? And everything goes from there.
Yeah, that was
and the health, too, though.
Yes, which they knocked down this past week.
Yeah, which
that was the number one hero, or if I saw it on my team, I just assumed we were going to lose. And it hasn't necessarily gotten better in my league, but it's still leagues beyond what it has been up until this point. It was a launch hero. Kerrigan has been in the game since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it took this long to fix her.
Kael'thas getting through right now. Just not getting picked.
As
Li Ming's.
Which I'm actually really happy about. Kael'thas is like my jam. Has been for a long time. And I couldn't play Kael'thas anymore.
Yeah, that's awful.
It sucked.
I stopped practicing him because I never got to pick him.
It's funny when you see people pick Kael'thas, and they're like, I actually don't know how to play Kael'thas, but I saw he was available, so I took him. And you're like, well, okay.
That's something we talk about on the show all the time. Is it worth practicing the most popular heroes? Because 9 times out of 10 they just get banned if you're playing draft.
Yeah. Since bans have been instituted, it's a weird thing because you also have to practice now for your league because like where I am, like in bronze, like between bronze silver, it's like the bans are completely different there.
You see, I'm in gold where the bans are pretty much like esports bans.
Yeah, they just do the meta bans, right?
Yeah.
But we get like Morales all the time getting banned.
But that happened in gold. That still happens in gold.
But I don't really agree with that one. I'm just like
it depends on the comp. If there's a scary auto attacker, you don't want stim on that hero. Like
and coordinating a dive in bronze with your team is extremely difficult.
Coordinating?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I constantly hear that from people. They're like, why even Kael'thas? You just pick Greymane and you dive him, you delete him instantly. I'm like, well, maybe not in your league.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not going to happen.
If I pick a Greymane, here's what happens. I dive and I kill someone and then I die.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet trade, worth it.
Yeah,
right?
totally worth
Type
it.
worth,
Yeah.
hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to
but
go.
with Kael'thas, I damage a lot of people from the back, and then I still do a lot of damage. Like,
He's still great. He got nerfed this week,
and I
he's still
don't
great.
die. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, there was a bit of news this week, so I think we should talk about it.
Sure.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
Stage is right here.
Oh, that's true. We do have a stage.
I can
We have a
literally
real
point to it.
stage today.
It's right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right here. I did that on accident. We have 4 options for news, and I just happened to get the one with that little drop in it.
Well
How
done, well
wonderful.
done.
It would have been cool had I not commented on it.
That is what makes things cool, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Ruined.
Congratulations.
Really good at this.
You're uncool.
So China Joy is going on right now, and there's been a bit of news for some Blizzard games. I don't know, nothing happening with Hearthstone at all, right? Yeah, exactly.
No,
but we got some Heroes news as well. Dustin Brown, we knew we were getting Auriel, the angel from Diablo, but we finally, Dustin Browder, he came out with a shiny head and actually kind of broke her down for us. We know her kit now. We know her talents.
Yes. And it's an interesting kit.
Yeah. So what do you think about it overall? Because we were talking about this at the bar last night because I didn't know the talents had been released because it wasn't in the Dustin Browder video, and then I came to set this up. So run me through this again. How does her heal work?
So my understanding, and it's really tough to know because of course there's leveling with
Right.
it, and all we know is the base number. So right now you put a mark on someone. You give them a sort of blessing that gives no stats or anything like that, but every time they deal damage, it charges up your heal. And then you spend that heal every time you use it. So kind of like Dahaka's Essence, you're gonna store up these points and then unload all of them, whether you want to or not, on your single heal.
Oh, okay. All right. Because this is something we've been talking about. We want more supports, but we're not sure how you make more unique supports. How do you find more unique ways to heal people? And it sounds like they found one here, but we've had 2 pros on recently. We've had Dreadnought, we had Dunk Train on, and they both talked about the burden of execution. Dreadnought didn't use that phrase exactly, but he commented on the exact same issues that Dunk Train brought up, which is if you have 2 teams that are equally skilled, like they're one to one equal on a level playing field, the team that just has an easier composition to play they're going to have the better time. And that's so when you just explained to me Auriel's how her heal works, where it's kind of dependent on your marked target doing enough to charge it up. That seems to be pretty high on the burden of execution.
Yeah, and we don't know if it has a global delay yet, if putting that buff on someone is going to be a heavy investment, and then you won't be able to put it else on someone. I mean, what if Greymane's about to dive in?
Yeah.
So you place your buff on Greymane, so you get all these sweet heals when he dives in, but instead he just jumps in and explodes, like he does sometimes.
Every time I play him.
Yeah, exactly.
We call that a Garrett Greymane.
And then you're out of your heal? Or what if you don't have anyone that actually deals reliable damage? What if you put it on Li Ming and she misses everything? So I don't know if there's a situation where you would pick Auriel over other healers yet. There is a talent later on that you can take where you get bonus stacks whenever they deal the damage through auto attacks.
Yeah, but that is the Bestow Hope. That is her trait, and it looks like it is we now know cooldowns that they on a 1 second cooldown.
Okay, so you can...
So not as scary if that Greymane goes and dies.
And the area is pretty large, but something else we'd have to consider and need to see is, does it turn off when someone gets to a certain range? I mean, Slowing Sands on Chromie is considered one of the worst heroics in the game right now, next to the RNG of Rain of Destruction. If you lose the buff when they exit a certain area, it could be really awful.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a very large leash range, so it sounds like that could be a concern.
We'll see. But her kit's real cool. She's got the sacred sweep thing where she does like this with her little hair lashes.
Hair lashes.
Yeah. Well, her ribbons. It's like I'm so horrible. No, I won't go even.
It's
go
like
there.
if Cirque du Soleil decided to become Mortal Kombat fighters.
Yeah, where they're swinging up and doing that. There's also a really cool movie. Hero. Hero was it. It's like a kung fu movie. There's a woman defending arrows on the rooftop with her sleeves.
That sounds really realistic.
Well, you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where they're like doing the light jumps.
Yes.
I definitely prefer the boom and you land everything heavy and the rocks fly up in the air.
So would you say she's a bit of a battle healer? More along the lines of something like Karazim?
Yeah, you're gonna have to develop an eye, because one of her other attacks, the detaining strike, I guess.
Detainment strike.
But this is you whipping out one of your little hair lashes. And much like Diablo, it pushes them back.
Okay.
But if they hit a wall, they get stunned. So you have to develop an eye for that. You have to actually be watching. That's one thing I see with newer Diablo players is that doesn't do an auto stun anymore. You have to hit a wall. So you have to
pinch them.
Exactly. You have to develop that eye to actually see them at a position.
You know by heart how long that distance is.
Exactly.
So you're going to get the stun.
And it's such a quick thing. You got to be on quick cast for it because they might be on that wall for half a second.
You really have to worry about your opponent's positioning.
But I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be an awesome ability. One, it does a pushback just like Morales. But if you get a stun with it, and then there's all sorts of talents that up that stun or give it more damage if you stun. There's a quest at level 4 for it. The more you stun, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. Bill, what do you think? What's your overall? Are you a support fan?
Well, I want more sports, obviously. We all know that we need more sports just in the game, period. So I'm definitely happy about that. I wonder if she will kind of fill the same spot as a Karazim, though, where it's like a frontline type of healer. And do we need to, like, diversify even more? Do we need to find other ways, or do we just need to, like, kind of just throw more healers into the Nexus and just let it happen, right?
You said the name of the show.
Yeah. Hey, you saw what I did there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, do we need to come up with a brand new type of healer every single time, or do we just need more of them? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think she's already diverse enough because you mentioned Karazim, so I don't think she's a frontline.
No, but
healer,
she has to be like
she's ranged.
Talked about the range. Like, you have to stay close to whoever, and plus, you're gonna have to make sure that the comp works with what she does, right?
Yes.
Because, you're not going to play her probably in a lot of like low damage, high tanky type comps or anything like that. You're going to need somebody in there who's dealing damage to make sure she's building that energy,
you can heal.
Right?
Yeah, because you're beholden to the other 4 people on your team to make sure that you can heal effectively, and that scares me to pieces.
Like in Quick Match or Hero League, like, is she going to be picked in Hero League when you're not playing with people you know?
You just
you
said
rely
the
upon
the two most popular modes.
Yeah,
in the entire game.
Yeah. So in the game, is she going to work? Yeah, I don't know. But like Kyle on your stream, you always talk about like, okay, do I trust this person or do I not trust this person now? Like, you can find that out as the game goes on.
Yeah.
If you're playing a hero like this, that's actually kind of reliant on other people, you're going to find that you don't trust them, and then you're going to be like, well, damn, now what?
Yeah, it's a judgment call that you need to make.
Yeah.
And will it panic people? That's another thing you have to really consider in solo queue is if you put a buff on someone, are they going to get stupid? Are they going to go, oh, they need me to do damage, and leap in on Greymane and just explode? And you're like, no, well, I mean, But I'm excited for like Battlefield of Eternity.
Sure.
Or Garden Terror. Not really. I'm never excited for Garden Terror.
Yeah, what?
No one is.
But the theory that there are these PvE targets where you can build up your heal more reliably instead of, maybe Cursed Hollow where we're dancing out of lane for so much time, maybe we don't actually charge up the heal. But her heal does need to be limited because she has Resurrection. Straight up Resurrection.
Yes.
Yeah, but with quite a bit of drawback to this Resurrection.
There's some rules to it.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
3-second channel time.
A channel,
Okay.
and you come back with 50% of your health.
And I'm assuming if she dies during those 3 seconds, it doesn't work.
Or get stunned and then
Or
you'd
get
be
stunned
sent
and
to
interrupted, yeah.
then you'd be stuck on the 8 seconds that
The
you're
8
stuck
second,
on Mosh Pit or Ancestral.
But the
or
other thing
anything
too is, okay, so the theory around this is we're in a team fight, somebody dies, and now it's 5v4, and now your healer stops for 3 seconds to channel and pick somebody up, who then comes back like where they are, which if they died, they're probably in a bad spot, right?
Well, 3 seconds later, it's probably no longer a bad spot.
Maybe.
It's a worse spot.
Yeah, exactly. Things have gotten worse.
Well, that's true. But I mean,
for those 3 seconds, your healer wasn't healing, and now
I meant more in the lines of there's probably not an AOE still happening.
things have moved. You're right. Yes,
but
things
but
have
you're
shifted.
right. The opposing team has probably moved forward. They probably
Yeah. So, but I mean,
advanced the
like,
line.
that's so the theory around that is like, is that even going to be effective? Is it going to be worth my time to stop for 3 seconds, pick somebody up at 50%, and just have them like, like I always think of like the battle res when like a druid's like, all right, I'm picking you up, and then you're like, oh, I'm dead. Like, I'm sorry. Like I woke up and now I'm dead again.
You res me
that's
into
gonna
the
happen.
dragon tail. Thank you.
Yeah. And then it's like worse because you've now died twice, giving twice the XP, and
Well, it needs to be though, and that's what I like.
Sure.
I like what you just said. It sounds conservative to me, and I think it needs to be for an ability that can have that big of an impact on the game. And since that they gave it that channel, we've talked all the time about what they can do to make it easier on themselves to tweak it. They can just adjust that channel time. If it comes out, she doesn't perform well, Resurrection never gets picked because 3 seconds is too long. That's a very simple thing that they can adjust.
Yeah.
That's true.
They can make it 2 seconds. They can make it 2.5. If it's too fast, they can make it 4.
Well, and you do have another ultimate. You have your
the other
crystal.
ultimate is kind of awesome.
Yeah,
too.
the Crystal Aegis. Aegis?
I've always said Aegis.
I don't know. I read it, and no one ever corrected me when I was younger. So
I said Mediv for the longest time.
Sure.
Even though the name
that's
is
just wrong.
said
I
in
mean-
Warcraft 3, which I'm aware. Calm down. But yeah, it's Mediv. But it's also a fake name. So
well, we also need a disco skin now, thanks to that Hearthstone
we
trailer.
We do. Although he's just wearing his normal clothes. He just has the hood down.
Well, then we need a smiling Medivh.
Okay.
Because
we need a happy Mediv.
he's real happy.
Make
He
the
is-
cone like a martini.
Yeah.
angry in Heroes of the Storm. He is not happy to be
No,
there. He's
but
just scowling the whole time.
But he keeps coming back, and the world's always, just stay fixed, right?
Yeah,
He's just
come
pissed
on,
that the world
guys.
can't stay
Can I
fixed.
just be dead, please? Thank you.
But I like the dynamic between the two heroics because you have the Resurrection, which I really think is going to be used in a situation where I'm thinking this game is going to go really long, and not in combat res. What I'm really thinking is my gray main. Again, I kept thinking of gray mains. They're crazy right now. They're everywhere, and inexperienced. So, but you get into late game, and gray main makes a bad engage into like 3 people.
Yeah.
You're out gray main for a whole minute. They take the base. Like, that's when the res is really important to me.
Well, yeah. I actually think, too, that, because I was listening to Core and they were talking about this, and all they kept talking about was this team fight situation. And there's also things like one guy gets picked and an objective is coming up.
Yeah.
And now you can just pick that guy back up and we can actually challenge the objective. So there are, like, uses outside of a 5v5 team fight for this Resurrection, clearly.
Right. Well, and if you're going to do team fights, if you think you're going to win the game early, I think you should go with Crystal.
Sure.
Because it's going to put someone in stasis for 2 seconds and then explode outwards.
Well, that gray main can dive because when you get there, here's the
well,
thing, yeah.
Technically, you're going to turn him off for 2 seconds,
Sure.
so he won't do any damage.
Yeah.
But, there's no point saving someone who's not in the thick of it.
Yeah,
'cause
but
of
if
the
you time
explosion.
it right, they could do a bunch of damage, and then the moment the team starts to turn on them, then you stasis them, and then they blow up, and then they get back and they get out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Seems good.
Yeah.
Okay, so in wrapping up on Auriel, cautiously optimistic? Is that where we are landing?
I think so. I think she'll be a happy addition. Certainly for, theme games. I'm a little sad it's always Kharazim when you do a Diablo team.
All right.
Yeah, I think she'll be good. I think actually too, I keep saying this, and I keep getting wrong, because every hero comes out and they just suck. And I thought Gul'dan was totally going to break that, but it didn't happen.
No, not at all.
But I think she will see competitive play, just because of the way the bans work. Like, there will be comps where she just makes sense, and they'll ban a support, and she'll be available, and it'll work. So
also, at a certain point, if you just keep saying it, you'll be right.
Well, at some point, yeah, I can't be wrong anymore.
I mean, they've been rightfully cautious. There
Right.
was there was a period of time where every hero was amazing on release.
Yeah, no, and I'm right there with you, Dills. I mean, we had Chromie coming in. I'm like, oh, it's a mage, gonna be great. Not so much.
No.
Gul'dan's coming in. Oh, it's mage, gonna be great. I mean, I know he's technically a
warlock.
warlock, but in terms of MOBA archetypes,
Yes.
he's a glass cannon, and again, didn't really set the world on fire, which is exactly what he came here to do.
Sure. Yeah, he was undertuned, though. Like, his kid is fine. He's just undertuned.
Yeah, exactly. So because of that, it's a live show, and I want to get to audience participation, but there was a balance update, and I just want to get your thought a little bit. So on that subject, Kyle, I want to ask you specifically more about Chromie and Gul'dan, because they still don't seem like safe picks. They both now have received multiple changes, and they even got changed in this patch. Do you think it's enough?
What they're really doing with Chromie is encouraging slowing sands play or more, time trap play. And the real way to play Chromie, and it hurts me every time I have to say there's a right way to play a hero. I die inside. But Temporal Loop, Overpower, early picks for Dragon Breath, they're the right way to play. And yes, you can go a full Sand Blast build on maps that have tight corridors that people are going to continue to force themselves through, like Towers of Doom. But otherwise, you probably should just go for the delete every time. And this is trying to work people out of that until they fix the range, the leash range on the Slowing Sands. If I can go all the way back to my base and leave that there, then I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Slowing Sands just needs to do some damage, and it would be fine. But it does no damage.
What if they just turned off health regen while you were inside of
Sure,
it? Just
just
simple.
do something. Some other effect other than just the slow. Because to me, it's like, I can slow you all I want, but if I'm not killing you.
Yeah.
What
What's the
if
point,
we put
right?
like a healing received debuff on the target?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
'Cause then they're marked.
Yeah.
Like that when Slowing Sands goes off, okay, they're going to receive less heals. Let's dive them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But right now, I mean, like, there's a lot of abilities that are kind of like that, where I just go, yeah, I mean, it seems good if my team is working with me, but again, in Hero League, that's not a guarantee ever. So you always kind of take the thing that you can rely on, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something you can rely on. So.
bigger, like expanding upon that, have a slightly kind of more overarching conversation. Do you think these heroes need to be safe picks?
No.
'Cause I don't think every hero in the game should necessarily be pickup game ready.
Yeah, well, and I was discussing this on Stormcast. I've got this dream scenario where you end up against a team with tons of spell shield, and you take Gul'dan to burn all the spell shields away with your sustained spell damage. Maybe that'll happen someday.
Right.
But probably not.
No, probably not.
It's something about like assassins in general. I feel like the heroes community, when assassins when they're not safe to pick in draft, it's more of a problem. We're more accepting of heroes like Abathur and Medivh for some reason. I don't know if it's just because of the specialist moniker, but it's like more accepted in our community that like, okay, it's fine. Those are for pre-mades. That's for when we can communicate. But for some reason, we get a little more irate about assassins not being a safe pick.
Well, and in that case, I think you're just messing with expectations. We could have a Vala, but you went Gul'dan for our sustain, and you're adding this big question mark on top of it. If someone early picks Abathur, Murky, Medivh, we're not exactly all on board, but we're all thinking, at least it'll be fun, right? And for
true.
the esports aspect of it, it's going to change the face of the battlefield so much that the game will be interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just take Gul'dan, we're just going to watch Gul'dan do his Gul'dan stuff, but it'll still be in that same position the Vala was.
Yeah.
It doesn't reshape the actual battlefield and make us go, oh, everything's different now.
Well, I always assume when a guy picks like Abathur that he's like some crazy Abathur specialist who's just going to blow my mind with, these Abathur strats I never knew about.
That
so
too.
I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah, when someone just picks like a bad assassin, I'm like, okay. Like Nova, all right.
Well, and they usually
suck and you don't know what you're doing, but yeah.
And they usually play chicken, right? They're like the last two picks, and you need a support, and both guys are going, I'm this.
Yeah.
Someone yield.
By the way, I don't know if you listened to the last core, but Gorath made a really good point about if you want to affect the game, don't be an assassin. And I thought it was actually really interesting because it is true. Like, a lot of people can assassin fairly well, right? Like, if there's a range where everyone can kind of fit into that, they can all do damage. But playing like a tank really well is actually something that people aren't that good at. And people are forced into that role a lot of the time. So if you get good at that, like, you can change the game like more than you can as just like another assassin.
Definitely. Well, and he's talking for platinum and diamond and above, and I think that's very true. I choose to tank when I need to carry right now because it adds a level of communication, and people are already looking to me to make those calls. In fact, the other day on solo Q&A, I had to talk to this Lily, and I was just like, I know this is boring. I know you were bored out of your mind. Stay with the team. And she's like, but I can clear that lane. I know you can. I know, and you do it great.
I trust you, Lily. You're
but
great. You're fantastic.
We don't win team fights in this game. We win every objective. Just be boring, and we win. And we did. But I felt bad.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's called every game I've ever played as Morales. Yeah. Boy, that's a boring hero. Do something about that, Blizzard. I don't know what. Armchair designing here. So any closing thoughts on that? Was there anything else from the patch you really wanted to mention? Because overall, I think it was a pretty quiet patch.
Yeah,
it was.
I think it did some good adjustments. The Kerrigan
Kerrigan needed to come back. Gul'dan got a slight buff. We'll see if that matters.
I think we need range on Fellflame, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the damage is great, but until we can reliably hit it, all you're doing is burning your own health every time you miss a spell.
Brightwing came back a little bit too, right? The Soothing Mist.
Yeah, Brightwing was reined in.
Yeah.
She's still fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I was unhappy to see it because I'm glad that we finally broke out of a world where we're seeing the same two supports all the time, and Brightwing becoming good again was part of that. But I think she's still fine.
Yeah, and
still
Face
going to see
Shield,
Brightwing.
10 seconds is still great.
Yeah, as long as like you still see Greymanes being picked, you're going to see Brightwings being picked.
And there are a couple people moving off of Greymane because he lost his bonus 10% he gained.
Yes. And he got reined in a bit.
So
too.
I'm a little get off my lawn. All right, there's the nerf. Can we all let me have Greymane again?
Can Kyle be the only good Greymane again? Yeah.
But Artanis buff, you got to talk about that because 200 health from the get-go makes him really viable the entire game.
Yep.
Now, what I really want people to do is watch the enemy team and make sure they have at least 3 melee, if possible. If you see that early Sonya draft on the enemy team, go for it because they're going to need a bruiser and there's probably going to be a Rhaegar or something to back it up. That's Artanis material because you have to do the sweep across people to reset your shield.
So you're saying take Artanis away from them if you see the opposing team start to do that? Or
No, take it for yourself.
If your team grabs Sonya.
Right. Well, no, I'm saying if you want to play Artanis right now, just make sure the enemy team has 3 melee.
Oh, they're going melee
so
heavy.
reliably,
Okay,
you can hit 3 people with a sweep.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to hit 1, you're going to hit 2. They might even kite you reliably, and then you're not going to have a good time.
That's true. That's true. Even with the early game, his early game improvements with the health, you still think it's a little specific.
It helps a lot,
wise.
but really it's only a 100-point increase instead of 200 because you want to be at 50%, and then.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point actually. Didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Kyle's smart, guys.
Well, cool. Well, if our wonderful friend Hachikumo could turn on the microphone, we'll do some Q&A with our live audience, and I'll also take the break to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. How many in the audience are ITN patrons? Yeah. Thank you, people. You guys are awesome. And as always, we'll thank a few of the patrons in no particular, in the order that they signed up. This episode, we're thanking Ingo B, Luis, Tyler, Adam W, Duke of Pizza, who wins the name game, Lance W, James G, and Jonathan S. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And if you guys dig into the Nexus, we would highly appreciate it if you go to patreon.com/ITN and sign up. Now it looks like we have our first question from the audience.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
One of my favorite things about watching competitive Heroes is just picks and bans in the beginning. In Heroes, we've only got like 50 some odd heroes, so it's fairly common to see some of the same people over and over. But even in a game like League of Legends, where you got like 140 some odd heroes now, you're still going to see the same like junglers over and over and over again. Do you think that's something that Heroes needs to really tackle? Do you think that's going to phase away with just as the game goes on and we get to 60, 70, 80 heroes, or just thoughts?
Are you asking, do they need to push back against having the same bans over and over again?
Well, do you think it would help if they added a ban, or do you think that it's just the nature of if it's just the nature of the game that you're always kind of going to see the same people over and over until somebody kind of thinks outside the box and they go, oh my God, this is the new amazing thing to do. It turns out Nova doesn't suck. If you have one person and they do this thing and then wow, and you kind of end up with a new archetype.
I'm definitely of the mindset that it's just kind of the nature of games in general, and you see, like you mentioned, other MOBAs that we see it in, and that's definitely true. But even outside of that, I mean, Dills, you and I were talking on the last Angry Chicken about the meta of Hearthstone and how we thought it was figured out because that's what the pros were doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're seeing weird shaman decks that are, you know, trouncing people, and and it kind of just, it takes popular opinions. Something needs to get in the limelight that hasn't been there before and be proven to work. And then you'll kind of see things change. I'm not sure how much Blizzard could do to fight against.
Well, they could definitely balance, like they've been doing a good job of adjusting balance. But I would like to live in a world where it's not about, you know, these 16 or so heroes, and you just kind of rotate them out, and the amazing like meta pick, you know, is actually not that weird. You know, you're still not seeing anything totally crazy. Like there was a time where like a Cho'Gall would show up now and then in like a pro game. But like I would love to see like more of this kind of rock, paper, scissors type of thing going on with the picks, where there are like specific heroes that you play, like they pick this and you're like, oh, literally like this is the pick, and it's not something you would see in any other game outside of, you know, just getting that hero, encountering them. But we don't really see that. Like it's like Muradin's in every freaking game, you know, and it does kind of take a little bit away, but again, yeah, it's hard to really fix that as Blizzard.
Well, and these are Blizzard fans playing the game, so
Sure.
I can't help but think that no matter what you do and how cool of a tree you build, people will always figure out the best one.
Well, that's so when people talk, I can bring up like another Angry Chicken thing here, but when people talk about like Yogg, and they're like, wow, how is Yogg like in the competitive meta? It's like, well, because these guys are trying to win, and Yogg works and helps you win, right? And like, I'm sorry that it's like this randomness, but he's a card that helps you win. So the pros will just always do whatever it is to win, and that means like these heroes are going to be like the best
yes,
ones.
and that informs the general player populace as well. Now, but there are outliers as well. There are compositions that are really hard to pull off, like we talked about. Your Abathur compositions, your Medivh compositions, like those may become popular, and Abathur has been in the past, yet you didn't really see a lot of him even when he was big in the pro meta, because it's too hard to pull off.
The jungling question's really interesting too, because right now there's really only two, Sonya and Illidan. And there are people that will clear a camp faster, but Sonya and Illidan walk away with really no health lost. And it didn't take them any resources to take that camp.
It also they didn't have to spec into it. That's why we don't see bribe taken. 'Cause if
Yeah.
you're going to get a jungler, you'd rather just get one of those two heroes who can spec for combat, and they still are perfectly fine junglers without taking specific jungling talents.
Well, and I would love to be Gazlo, but I walk away from that camp maybe with a little health loss if I've messed up, but mostly all my mana gone, and I need to hearth back. I mean, Greymane can also take a camp wicked fast, but he walks away with permanent health taken away from him. He has to go hit a well or use some sort of resource on the map. How do you counter that? I mean, think about Zul. Zul has a attack speed slow that's 50%. That's crazy. If you see an Illidan, you don't pick Zul because we want Zul to do the job we think he's better at, which is doing the split push 2 lanes, produce the skeletons into the wall. So, and then you also have the other element of it, which is the pro scene has to be secret. They're not going to share this sweet strat, and they may have pocket strats. They may have amazing strats that we'll never see because it didn't come up against that enemy team. The enemy team was just had a play style that didn't match that, and so it stays tucked away. And I wonder how many secrets we've lost now as teams disband or pro players leave, and these awesome ideas just go unused.
Yeah, but again, it's just the nature of the beast. This is at this point, it moves beyond the game. It moves beyond Blizzard's control. It's social. It's the social fallout of this game existing, and there being a professional scene.
I do miss it. I do miss the old ways. Thoughtbot, right? You had to work really hard to get what you wanted out of Thoughtbot. You had to do a lot of research, and it made World of Warcraft special back then.
It did. Again, it's a different type of game, though. Like especially if you, unless you're getting a PvP. But if you're doing PvE, there is just kind of a correct answer. Even now, like they again, not to go too far into WoW, but they've fought against there being a correct build time and time again. But there's always still preferable talent. Even
how many people do you think are in just Hero League and all they do is just pull up hot slogs and just pick whatever the thing without ever?
Oh, probably.
It's probably like the majority, right?
I do that.
Yeah.
I mean, not with.
Well, I usually do when I play a hero that I'm not
exactly
comfortable with, just to kind of give me a baseline. But
like I probably haven't played Sonya in over a month at this point.
Yeah, so if
I went back to Sonya, I'd go to Hot Slots and see what the top picks are. I'll still make informed decisions and read the talents, and that's what you all should do. And a lot of times you might go to Hot Slogs and see that there's actually some heroes. There's not a huge like winner. Like there's actually multiple builds, and that's I kind of get excited. It's like cool. I get to do a little bit of research. I'll text Kyle and be like, "Yo, dude, show me the way, Obi-Wan."
Yeah, well, that's why I love Li Ming. I still pick her early, despite her being at, 47% or so right now, and making it through a lot of bans, and sometimes games unpicked. But if I need to early pick damage, she's great because she has talent diversity.
Exactly, and she's not boring.
That's who it is. She's a lot of fun.
I feel like Kyle's whole mantra, it's a constant battle against being bored while playing games.
That is, that's my life, man.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think most people's lives. I think that's how video games got started.
Right. Like, I'm watching Ancient Aliens. Sorry, Garrett.
Why are you apologizing?
Because I love Ancient Aliens. But they yeah, exactly. But
he knows what's up.
They'll be like, why would they build these things? Why would they draw a spiral? Have you been bored at your desk in school? Spirals are fun.
When we're all dead and gone, they're going to pull out high school desks and be like, why does it say Metallica? What does it mean?
Some sort of...
It's carved in wood.
It's an ancient religion.
It's an ancient religion.
No, I mean, people are bored.
It's kind of a religion.
Yeah, I guess that's fair enough.
No, but I think to a certain degree it's just the nature of game making. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, Blizzard could surprise me. They did from the get-go with Heroes of the Storm. I didn't think we would ever see a mobile without last hitting. And they're like, no, get rid of that stuff. Make smaller maps. Get objectives. Have different maps.
Blizzard's all about taking out the extra stuff that you don't really need, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Play World of Warcraft right now. There is no extra stuff.
Nope. Almost to its detriment.
Like buffs? Yeah, no. We don't need those anymore. We don't need anything.
Nope. Stances gone for my warrior.
Gone.
What's going on? But no, if anyone's going to figure out something that we're not thinking of, I think it would be Blizzard because they've impressed me so far with things I never thought would show up in a MOBA.
I wonder if they think it's a problem when they watch pro games. They probably don't.
I mean, that's what they're trying to fight against to a certain degree with talents. You can see all the time in the dev comments whenever there's a bunch of talents across the board changed on someone. It's like, well, these are lesser pick talents, and we're not saying they want to see build diversity.
But the heroes, like, do you think they really care that the hero diversity in pro games isn't, massive?
I think so.
Yes.
I would think that when you create a hero and it's your baby, and then you send it out into the world or into the Nexus. See how many times I could slip that in there. But it would be sad to see it not played, right?
Yeah.
Well, and Blizzard has come out and said that the reason we've had so many assassins for so long is because they believe that those personified the esports game, and if you change the assassins, it makes it more interesting to watch.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, Mosh Pit isn't the most thrilling thing to see anymore, but the execution of it and then
seeing how that cool new assassin follows up on the mosh pit.
Exactly. It's kind of exciting.
Okay, that's another mosh pit. But Greyman, like when Greyman came out, we hadn't seen it before. And a werewolf shows up out of nowhere and rips out your throat.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
We have another question.
We do. Come on up, sir.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
All right. Auriel is the next hero coming out, but they haven't announced anything else. What do you want next?
So they did leave the hint in the Reddit Q&A they did that something's coming and we can't see it, but it's blah 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 stealthy, right? They were making a bunch of jokes.
Oh, that's right. They did talk about some sort of stealthy again, yeah.
Which to me says Windwalk because we know. I mean, we've seen the pictures. Even Dustin Browder 3 weeks ago tweeted out what Heroes of the Storm looked like in 2010, and Blade Master was on there.
Yep.
So I think Blade Master's coming real quick.
Okay.
I agree.
I don't know how, Windwalk is a very cool ability. It's going to give stealth. If they do it like Warcraft 3, it'll give you bonus damage when you pop out of it. It'll be a timed ability, so you can't hang out in stealth forever. I think that'd be exciting. More Tassadar play, more counterplay to anything that stealths.
Please, no more perma-stealth. Please, no more perma-stealth.
I think that's fair.
I think we have enough of it.
Yeah.
Two is enough.
And I like that all the supports don't have a reveal on them. In fact, Auriel's kit right now doesn't have a clairvoyance on it at all.
Yeah.
And we've moved away from the button clairvoyance to these, like the Radiant Dash on Monk or the phase shift of Brightwing. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Now, is that who I want? No. After the most recent little cartoon they did for Legion, I want that Dreadlord even more.
Oh, yeah, with like a Dreadlord.
Whisper in
They have
ears.
to add that. But that's the same thing. That's why I will not be surprised if there's a Blade Master. It's like it exists in every other MOBA, which came out of Warcraft 3. We need it. We need it in Heroes of the Storm. We need a Blade Master. It just feels weird not having it in there.
Tasting my blade.
Could you imagine the game without Stitches? Even though it's not a highly picked hero, but could you imagine the game without like the fat undead guy with a hook?
With a hook, yeah. Just
Blade
an
Master,
archetype.
Blade Master for me is like right underneath that, and I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet.
I mean, who are we missing? Just like who's very lore heavy, like just like Thrall. Thrall's in the game, of course, but
Yeah.
he came out later. Like, who are we missing that is of that gravity in the Blizzard lore?
Medivh. Or not Medivh, other guy.
Khadgar?
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, people have been talking about like Deckard Cain forever.
Deckard Cain.
That's true.
I'd love to see Deckard Cain.
Yeah.
By the way, if you have a suggestion for the next hero you would like to see, line up and let us know. We want to have this discussion. But yeah, no, we need Deckard Cain. Really need Deckard Cain.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like World of Warcraft wise. I mean, like to me, like Medivh and all that kind of stuff, and now One Night in Karazhan, which we'll get to on another show, but it all feels like it's all surrounding like the movie, and then all this stuff kind of all feels like, oh, let's remind you guys of all these characters that you might not have been thinking about for, like
Yeah,
Gul'dan is so damn heavy into
It is
everything
strange,
now.
right? It feels like all of this should have happened before the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the next question is, which Gul'dan do you get? And we got a very odd version of Gul'dan.
Mm-hmm.
We got him, it's almost like a Warcraft 2 kind of Gul'dan. We don't have the skulls.
No.
We got the creepy bandage pants. And his persona is not the movie, but it's not him anywhere else. It's interesting.
Not my Gul'dan. Hashtag not my Gul'dan.
Yeah.
What about do you think we'll ever get like Kill Jaden or like Sargeras or something like that?
What?
Like just some
Can you
so
imagine?
overpowered crazy. Then you're like, how can he be balanced
I
with
can't-
everybody else?
I can't imagine watching like Kill Jaden and Sargeras just die over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I know they were in
You
raids,
were the
and I know
worst
they died
Kill
over
Jaden.
and over
You
again.
keep on dying.
It's weird to me for Arthas to not be one of the best heroes in the game.
Yeah.
And also, again, to just watch like an Arthas die over and over again.
Like
in the game.
here we go. Your next
strange.
Abathur style hero, Ragnaros, just like sits in the base and just launches fireballs around the map.
Yeah, fireballs randomly land somewhere.
Yeah, it's awesome. I would love that.
Well, yeah, and you've always made the joke.
Oh God, water
Oh,
down!
good. It was capped.
This is why we have caps, because of me. You made the joke that Ragnaros needs to pick up his fire skirt when he mounts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then
Kyle's been campaigning for Ragnaros forever.
I think you should choose whether he's Lord of Light or the
Oh,
Flame Lord
okay.
at level 10.
All right, I like that.
Oh,
That's
you get a
cool.
little like Hearthstone specific.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
Let's throw some Yogg Saron in there. Throw just some RNG.
Right.
You just walk around like a big tentacles
I don't know.
everywhere. Yeah.
People are
right.
not happy about Reign of Destruction.
Reign
I've destroyed the
of
entire
Reign
team.
of
and
Disappointment is what some people call it.
Yes.
What was the Gul'dan showers?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, let's before we run through every character ever, let's get the first.
I understand it may conflict with silhouettes, but what about Leroy Jenkins?
Ooh.
I think
Leroy
that's
Jenkins.
fantastic.
I would love to see Leroy
Just
Jenkins.
rushes in and dies, but does a bunch of damage on the way.
Yeah, he needs to be another murky-like hero. He's built to die.
Yeah.
That would be
But at least he has
fantastic.
chicken.
And he could drop eggs and they spawn whelps that attack other people. That'd be,
Yeah, he does his ultimate, which does a bunch of damage, but the other team gets a bunch of whelps that then do a bunch of damage back.
Well, yeah, but like Gul'dan, everything costs you health, but it doesn't pull directly from your health. You spawn whelps
Yeah.
that chase you everywhere you go.
The thing, yeah. So the thing is, Leroy should engage, but then it becomes chaos for the rest of your team, right? Like after he engages, then everyone's just like, oh god, and there's just like stuff happening everywhere.
He should have some type of initiating ability.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
Leroy
he
is the
initiates
one
the
leading
fight.
the
That's what
charge.
he does.
Yeah, he needs to be an initiator, and he needs to have something good that happens when he dies because he's Leroy. He needs to die. The goal needs to be to kill him.
No, I'm down. Good idea.
But yeah, I think you could absolutely make Leroy and not necessarily conflict with Silhouettes because I'm thinking Uther probably be the closest.
Well, and Uther has a medic skin, and that didn't stop them from doing medic. So
And we have so many StarCraft people in Marine suits as it is, and we might even get General Warfield at some point.
yeah, they said they're done with Marine suits.
Oh,
Actually.
okay. So then I guess we're not getting General Warfield.
No, well, he was going to be Sergeant Hammer, but they didn't want to do him because he pop out in a Marine suit.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so as soon as they took the suit away, they're like, this isn't Warfield anymore.
Gotcha. I'm glad they went with. I like Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm still waiting for my Tank Girl skin. I want like the umbrella with the lawn chair on the back. I want that. Give me that. Why isn't that in?
How about Overwatch heroes like Anna? She could translate pretty good to
Yeah,
that.
actually. I mean, Overwatch is ripe for the picking. We only have Tracer, and as a matter of fact, Eric Hagman recently said that they're really happy with how Tracer worked out, and they're excited about the next Overwatch possibilities. So, yeah, Ana would be great. And I might actually be good with her as opposed to as I am in Overwatch, which is terrible, and you should boot me from your team if you see me pick her.
That's because you have to land a snipe to heal.
Yes.
And I play Mercy, so I don't have to aim.
Yep.
So I've always said that Zenyatta would be really good. In the
Zenyatta
Nexus.
would be super cool.
Yeah. Because a debuffing healer.
Yeah.
That, picks a target and says, okay, kill this guy. That's
Two people are marked. One's marked on your team, and it
Yeah.
helps them. One person's marked on the enemy team, and it does not help them at all.
and does range damage pretty well. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's room for that. Also, I think we're pretty sure that like Winston is going to come at some point, right? Because he's such a
No one really
big
has
hero.
his kit. Like we don't have a
No,
tank
yeah,
that
somebody
drops
just
that like
jumps
drops
in,
this kind
yeah.
of circular barrier. That this has I mean, you have Muradin who kind of leaps in, but there's ways you could.
Yeah,
make it
but like the
different.
enrage with the knockback and all that kind of stuff as his ultimate would be pretty cool. And I also think Reinhardt would be awesome. I think.
Oh, yeah. And we have a 1-to-1 almost with League of Legends, so character's kind of ready.
I really want Reinhardt.
Yeah.
I think that's the top of my list on Overwatch.
Like the ultimate of just like stunning everybody in front of him. Oh, so good.
Yep. Oh man, Winston, can you imagine if he had the jump and he has the berserk ult, so you jump over the opposing
jump
team
over,
and you
like, yeah.
smack them into your wall. Ooh, dirty.
Or
Dirty.
let's just completely complicate everything, and you leave a mine. You take off your glasses and you leave them, and someone has to step on them so you can activate your ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's complicated.
Right. Well,
That's a Kyle Ferguson complication if I ever heard one.
why not?
Yeah.
We still have folks waiting to give us suggestions.
My roommate and I talk all the time about getting Malthael in, and we would like to see him as like this melee assassin that, like Gul'dan, kind of feeds off of life in order to stay in the fight, and then his ultimates would be around manipulating death timers.
Yeah, Malthael is the one I'm glad you brought that up, that I'm so surprised is not in the game yet. Very cool. But
Yeah.
It's like something like, angsty
Floating around all creepy like.
angsty teenagers in high school. Report to Heroes of the Storm, please. Malthael is here.
Yeah, he would be awful release week, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because everyone would play it.
Him and Reaper, man. The whole Hot Topic crowd would show up.
Yeah.
Great.
Hashtag Reaper names. Hashtag
Yeah.
Malthael names, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But his kit as presented in Diablo 3, the expansion, is kind of already taken. Dahaka has the
you're
spinny
right.
thing
Yeah,
around
he
him.
has the circular kind of don't go here zone.
I mean, Vala kind of stepping on some toes with all the multi-shots he does out of his little guns.
Even if they did the spinny skulls further away from him, that kind of steps on Johanna territory.
Can you imagine those little clouds with the skulls chasing you everywhere you go? Oh, no.
That would be unique. That would be
Yeah, it
unique.
would be unique. It'd be awful.
Oh, I don't want
hate
that.
those things.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I'm also waiting for Diablo 3 Diablo, because I don't think we're ever getting it as a skin because the silhouette is far too different.
Yeah, the female Diablo, but she doesn't do anything too much. I mean, I love
She's
Leah.
literally in the cinematic for the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's very true. Well, they had the model available,
They did have the
right?
model,
So
yeah.
it's kind of awkward in that way. We're all hoping for like some sort of updated battle.
Oh, I'm ready for a new cinematic.
Yeah.
Who here is ready for a new Heroes of the Storm cinematic?
Do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of hands raised because folks watching, you can't see the crowd, but there's a lot of hands raised. Believe us.
Have you guys ever talked about this? But do you think that they would do like expansions for Heroes of the Storm, like a full-on expansion? Like here's, 30 new heroes and a big theme and a new cinematic and a bunch of like.
That'd be awesome.
It's like because with a game like that, you just kind of feel like with other MOBAs, they just kind of go on forever, right? Until.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, League did a big update and changed the graphics and
like
made
Dota
Baron look
becomes
good
Dota 2, but
Yeah.
like I'm not even talking about like Heroes 2. I'm just saying like here's an expansion on Heroes, all at once, bam, ton of new stuff. Could be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I don't think it's going to happen because
No,
it's
I don't
Team
think so
1.
either.
Yeah. They literally just don't have the manpower.
Yeah.
You know how long it takes to get one hero right now? How long would we have to wait for 30?
It takes 3 to 4 weeks.
Well, when we don't get any more events.
Right. Actually, we kind of had that like a little bit with the Diablo event last year, which they said they are not doing again, and I'm really sad to hear that. I thoroughly enjoyed that event.
Well, and whispers on the wind say that the StarCraft map that's coming is a BlizzCon announcement.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
You got your bans well before BlizzCon, so I have been wrong.
Yeah, that's too long for a new battleground, I think. Especially with Garden of Terror still in the rotation.
Yeah.
But that's where I get a little salty on the subject of heroes. Is battleground selection right now needs a little umph, a little spit shine. So, next.
So we have Paladin hero already with Uther, but what are your thoughts on perhaps some of the Draenei that we don't have any heroes for yet, like Marad or Auriel?
I would love a Draenei hero. Dills, I know you're Horde for life, but
Yeah, I mean, space goats, whatever, man. Step on them.
Oh, the big crystal hammer,
No, Murad's definitely, I think.
What about Prophet Velen?
Sure. What was it? It's Ariel or whatever is the other one, right? Auriel?
Auriel.
Yeah, Auriel.
Live crowd is awesome. Can we just take you all can you hang out in my office at home so you can yell corrections at me? That's it's so helpful.
It'd save us a lot of emails. Yeah.
It would save us a lot of emails. Yeah, because I know we have the chat room, but sometimes it goes by too fast. So, thank you.
But yeah, no, there's 0 Draenei right now in the game, right? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, none whatsoever. Or trolls. Yeah, we need Vol'jin.
Yeah, Vol'jin for real, dude.
Vol'jin needs to happen.
Got friggin' gnomes before we got trolls.
There's still the troll berserker in the picture with Cho'Gall. The announcement kind of waving at the screen. Everybody. That was back on Sky Temple's release.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we need trolls, and we need Draenei. I think Prophet Velen's different enough. Definitely a different enough silhouette. I can't think of anyone that looks like him. It's just this weird, big old bearded, crazy space goat.
Yeah, he'd be cool.
Okay, we all know about the Lich that hanged out with in World of Warcraft 3 that hanged out with Arthas. Yeah, the Lich that hanged out with Arthas.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing. They need to add him to
Oh
it.
yeah, Kal'Thuzad that's another one I'm surprised. He's right up there with Malthael in my book of how is this not in the game yet?
Even more. I mean, Warcraft 3 was where we met him,
If
right?
nothing else, I just want people to be confused when I say ban KT.
Yeah. That was weird for me because when people started saying KT, I was like, that's not KT.
I know, me too. Yeah, that's right. No,
What
it's
are you
Final
guys
Boss of
talking
Max
about?
Rambus. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mr. Bigglesworth, his cat? Yeah. There is a train. I hope this is coming through the recording, too.
Hype train.
Yeah, get on the hype train, everybody. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That is really loud.
I mean, Kyle, I'm surprised you haven't championed KT more. You're like you are the leader of the Lich fan club.
Yeah, I love my villains. I have a really hard time because of Dota, not imagining him just being that kid. Frost Nova, kill a minion for mana. The ult can be different. I mean, Death and Decay, you gotta have that, but
yeah.
It's tough. Same with Blade Master. I feel the same way. Like, you're just gonna have him spin with the sword? That's kind of lame, but that's what he does.
Yeah, we already got the spinny sword guy or girl, so.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of spinning in World of Warcraft, though. A lot of people spin.
That's a good point.
They even make my priest spin when I complete certain quests, or...
Night elves.
What
Wait, is it blood elves? Night elves? Which one spins?
Oh,
Blood elves.
Blood elves.
in the air.
Blood elves
Yeah.
spin
Yeah.
in
Night
the-
elves flip.
I mean,
right?
I can spin myself while I jump. I do that all the time.
You like jump, see if you can spin.
Yeah,
you just
They have
grab the
multiple
mouse
times in a row.
Male blood elves also spin when they're tanking, when they're using a one-hander. They have a
okay.
spin.
Oh yeah,
attack.
trolls too. They're spinning.
Yeah, oh yeah, very. They're very dramatic.
No shoes.
No shoes. That always bothered me about trolls. That was the thing that I wanted them to have closed-toed shoes for crying out loud.
But they only have 2 toes.
I know they only have 2 toes, but
And the Ninja Turtles never wear any shoes.
Ninja Turtles are naked.
Yeah. If you don't have 5 toes,
Right.
you don't need
no,
shoes.
they have belts.
Yes, they have. Why do they have belts?
to keep their stuff, man.
Yeah, their weapons. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, fine.
Where else are you
fair
gonna
enough.
keep
So
size,
it's
dude?
more of a harness.
Yes. But now we're getting into like the Donald Duck
Look,
Squidward
they
problem
also
with no
have
pants.
friggin' headbands with eye slots. So I mean, we can like if we want to start picking on things.
That's true.
I think
start
Mike,
there.
I think Mike needs to pull us out of this nosedive we're in at the moment, talking about naked cartoon characters.
Yes. Hello. I would like to see more Hearthstone representation in the game, and so maybe a character that uses Hearthstone cards to summon minions.
Reno Jackson.
The innkeeper, I think.
Yeah, the innkeeper.
I think there's been some talk about having an innkeeper hero would be sweet.
Well, and it's mad complicated, but there are heroes like this, Invoker in Dota.
Yeah.
You have a selection of about 12 different spells based on how you combine 3 elements. So if
Right.
So if I queue up these 3 spells, they do nothing, but they give me a spell on my bar.
Okay.
I think that'd be a very cool mechanic for the Innkeeper to have a deck, and every time I use a spell, it's replaced with a new card.
Oh, I
that would
see.
be
Yeah, so you're
cool.
basically like playing a card and then you draw another card.
And every time I
yeah.
take a talent, I add a card to my deck.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool.
I think he should also have a table flip. He throws down a Hearthstone table and just flips it. He needs that. Just
I think
saying.
that's good.
Or at the very least, his taunt needs to be that. Now that we're in the business of overly elaborate taunts,
I would love Hearthstone skins. Like, I want Disco Medivh. If we get Kel'Thuzad, I want happy, handsome Kel'Thuzad.
when was Kel'Thuzad ever?
He talks about how handsome he is all the time in Hearthstone when you're doing that adventure.
Oh, okay.
The adventure.
did not
the
notice
one
that.
we did one time and then never did again.
Well, maybe you did, but
Yeah.
I paid 700 gold for each one of those.
Yeah.
I worked
I'm
hard to
playing this
unlock
content,
those.
damn it. I just got the cards and was out.
The free-to-play Hearthstone player is in the house. But,
Valuable.
Yeah. If they ever add a Morose, we could have undead and not dead Morose.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm still surprised we don't have like humanoid Tyrael.
Well, he'd be walking, right? He wouldn't be flying, so I guess it would
So-
be...
You could.
What
Budget.
other like Hearthstone only outside of like League of Explorers is there? I feel like that's kind of
It's
it,
pretty
right?
much just League of Explorers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could have like Sir Finley Murgleton.
I mean, you
have
You have certain cards. Like we could have a Noyotron. A Noyotron could be a hero in Heroes of the Storm.
okay. Oh.
Well, we
Ooh.
talked about that
No.
before, like Pokemon Trainer in Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, Pokemon Trainer in Super Smash Bros. Oh, actually, that would be an interesting thing for that could be a route you could take the Innkeeper. He
Right,
could-
like the Innkeeper sits in the base and sends out your hero, and when
plays
it
a
dies,
card and
exactly.
it becomes a hero. So he could
Okay.
send out a Noyotron. He could send out Explosive Sheep. He could send out
Oh, yeah. He plays minions.
Godzilla. Could be his
Dope.
alt.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
That's
would be really
that's
cool.
pretty good actually. I like
Yeah.
that.
Next question or suggestion?
So everybody else has suggested adding heroes. If you had to remove a hero that's already in the game permanently, who would it be?
Nova.
Yeah.
I knew that was your answer.
Nova. Just get rid of her.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm actually okay with Nova because when I see Nova on the other team, I'm like, all right, cool. We got
Right, and
this.
I would like the interesting draft that a Nova would suggest to be active.
Sure.
Right? Like, let's get that task star. Let's get something with clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Right now, it's really chromy for me. It's just, it's so upsetting to have the wrong healer and just have people be deleted because we couldn't top them off during the temporal loop. And that does take coordination, but it takes coordination on the enemy side, not on your side. Like having a Medivh on your team is a detriment, but you can do something cool, whereas it's a detriment to the enemy team to actually figure this out.
Yeah.
I have no idea who I'd want taken out, honestly. I can't think of anybody that I really hate that I see that I'm just like, oh man, this guy again. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I answered because I was asked. I mean, honestly, I'd leave it alone.
Yeah.
but the one I would miss
Yeah,
the
yeah.
least would be Nova. I don't like playing against her, and I sure as heck don't like her on my team.
I used to love playing as Nova, by the way.
Oh, I remember.
That's back when we had when I could clone your ultimate when the game first came out. You and I running as Nova Abathur.
Fun fact about Into Nexus, Dills didn't actually leave on his own. We just found out he liked Nova so much.
Yeah. Like, out.
Yeah.
So this is a little off topic, but we talked about cinematics earlier. Is it me, or do I feel like Blizzard should just be making cinematics and doing a movie based around those cinematics and all of that? Because I understand they made a movie and they have done a lot of stuff, but I love those trailers. I absolutely adore them, and they just need to be making more of them,
Most
in my opinion.
definitely not just you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, but like you hear this all the time, like, why make a live action movie? Like, just make a hour and a half long animated movie in their style. But the reality is like that's not that easy.
Yeah,
It takes them a year to make one of those cinematics.
But also
typically.
like like Blizzard has a team that makes those and they're very good at those.
Yes.
But then the moment you like try to become like Pixar, it's like that's like why like Legendary comes in and does it because they know how to make a movie.
They
Blizzard
would have
doesn't
to
necessarily.
open up their own new studio. They'd have to start a new branch.
That said, I would love to see like some more long form stuff that's not necessarily just a cinematic for some expansion, but just here's like a 5-minute short in that style, just telling a little bit of a story.
Yeah, they've definitely done more with that in the realm of Overwatch. With the shorts, we've gotten quite
Also,
a few
World of
shorts.
Warcraft, a bunch of that stuff, like when we had Warlords of Draenor, and we had the little stories that weren't necessarily like the cinematic style. But,
but that's what I was saying with Overwatch is it is the cinematic style.
Yeah.
We've had multiple shorts that are very well produced. It's on
those
par
are amazing.
with Pixar.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that kind of stuff, and I'm not sure. Like I would assume that it might be slightly less intensive to make because of how stylized Overwatch is versus how ridiculously detailed all of the other 3 IPs cinematics are. But it's getting better. But no, I would love to see a feature-length cinematic made by Blizzard.
We got the trailers back though, and the Ariel one is I got chills watching it. It was really cool.
It was sweet.
The comps are awful. They always are, and I wonder if they do that just to like get it into our heads that maybe you'll take Cho'Gall with Leoric
and
Diablo.
No, you won't. I mean, we might on an after-show game, but
we should do that. Yeah, we'll do the suggested build that Blizzard has given
we'll
us
do
through cinematics.
trailer after-show games.
There we
Is
go.
this what bothers
comp,
you about the trailers? You just look at it and you're like, no one would ever pick these heroes together. I never even
Does
think
Blizzard
of it.
even play this game? Zagara, that was the other one.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. Okay. Well, she's good.
Might be okay. Might be
Not
okay.
necessarily in that composition.
No.
But, wow, bizarre. Just strange. I think they just, I don't know. I'm sure it's just, hey, who would be cool to have this hero fight? I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think they're suggesting that you, Kyle, go and make that composition
I'm gonna.
just rattled off. I know you are.
I don't care if they don't
I know
want
you
me
are,
to.
but I don't necessarily think that's their intention. So, well, we need to start wrapping this up so we can move on to the next show.
Sure.
But Dills, thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
man.
my pleasure.
So, where can folks find you when you're not doing this fine show?
Everybody here knows where to find me, right?
There's
there's an audio version of this. Okay.
There's
at
podcast feed.
At Willie Dills, and then I also do a show called Stormcast, which is about Heroes of the Storm as well. So check that
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter. 2 S's in Ferguson. You can find me on last week's Stormcast. That was awesome.
It was a great
Get to
show.
hang with those guys. Talk about how to analyze your own games if you're interested in that. Pretty in depth too. We went over in there. Lots of Gul'dan love. Check out Stormcast. I love getting to go on that show.
Thanks, man.
Kyle actually did a Heroes of the Storm book tour last week. So any Heroes of the Storm podcast, chances are Kyle was on it.
It was a blast.
I don't think you were on your wife's one though. Were you?
No, but I have in the past.
You
but
have
not,
been on
not
Heroes
last
Forge,
week.
but not
no.
last week. Okay, it was the one Heroes podcast.
Yeah,
you
and you'll never guess what I forged on that show. A Dreadlord. I'm very excited.
Okay, Mal'Ganis.
I have a through line.
Yep. All right, fine. Cool. Well, folks, you can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt and amove.tv for all of the podcasts. Huge thanks to our live crowd for coming out for this. We know it's early, so thank you all for being here to watch our live episode of Into the Nexus. Thank you for everyone tuning in home. And until next time, good luck and have fun.
Take care.